Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. So I am sure you are wondering two things right now. One, if this is a photography channel, why am I sitting on a tractor? And the truth is, I don't know. I wanted to sit on a tractor to do this, so I'm on a tractor. Secondly, you probably see the sling on my arm and wondering what happened. So before we get into the video, I'll just tell you that I thought it would be a good idea to buy a Canon RF 1200mm lens and go try it out on some wildlife photography, some birds. And the first time I pulled it up, because the lens was so big, I tore a tendon on my right elbow. I tore it off the bone, and they had to go back in and reattach it. So yeah, that's a lie. I'm not buying a $20,000 lens. This is just something that happened. I actually did tear a ligament off of my bone, and they had to reattach it today. Actually, I shouldn't even be on this tractor, but I am. So let's that all aside, let's get into why I'm making this the intro to my video. So I went out and a few days ago, and I did some photography one morning, and I'm trying this new thing where I'm going to start using my Canon R5 to do a little bit of recording, because it's way better quality than the DJI Action 3 little GoPro style camera, little action camera that I typically use. So I'm still going to use both of them, but I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of recording on the R5 as well. Like I said, just to get better quality. So the first recording I made on the camera the other morning, went back inside after I got home, downloaded all the files, or tried to upload them to my laptop, and all of my videos uploaded. They were all there, with the exception of one, and that was my intro. So this is why you have a very awkward intro to this video. So just to get you back on track, when I end this here, I'll bring you back where I was that morning after I made my intro. So I was in the Bienville National Forest, and I had found a small little pond with some tupelo trees. They kind of look like cypress trees, but they're not. They're tupelo trees. And I was basically sitting there waiting for the light. It was a very cloudy morning, but every now and again some light would come through. The clouds would part, and the sun would come through, and it would just illuminate the trees, and it had a perfect reflection in the pond. And so anyway, I was sitting there waiting on the shot, and like I said, I got the shot, and I got a few more clips, but for whatever reason, my intro, I don't know what happened to it. So I'm just learning how to work this camera, I guess. Maybe it was probably a user error, if I had to guess. So with that being said, here is the video and my morning in the Bienville National Forest. Now I gotta find a way to get down without hurting myself. Should not be doing this. My wife would fuss at me if she knew I was. So would my mom, and probably everybody else. Golly. Have I mentioned this tractor is not mine? It's not mine. since I last spoke to you, I've waited very patiently for about 30 minutes for the sun to come out, and it's not coming out. So I'm going to I've got a composition set up, and it's not horrible. It's got some nice tupelo trees, and I'll turn the camera around and show you what I got set up. But it's got some nice reflections. The water's not the cleanest, it's kind of muddy. But you can see the reflection of the tupelo trees in the foreground. And there's some that come in from the right side of the screen, and some that come in from the left that kind of angle in like make this little chute. And then there's, I think, a pine tree in a dead center on the other side of the, I guess you'd call it, I don't know, pond. So that's basically what I've got set up, and I'm shooting this. I'm shooting it at f8, ISO 100, and with a polarizer on, because I'm trying to really exaggerate these green colors in the on these leaves. With all that, that's giving me roughly a 2-second exposure, which may be a good thing because there's a lot of frogs jumping in the water creating these ripples, and there's also raindrops falling from the leaves into the water. So that 2 seconds may give it enough time to kind of smooth out. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But I'll turn the camera around real quick and show y'all what I'm looking at before I take the picture. And as you can see, this is the little chute I was talking about. Trees come from this way going in, go from this way going in, and it's like a little chute. So if the sun would have came out like I was hoping it would have lit all the tops of these trees up, and it would have been much more vibrant and green. And then of course with the extra light, the reflections here in the foreground would have been more brighter as well. But hey, you know, it is what it is. You can't have everything perfect, as I always say. So instead of sitting here another 30 minutes waiting on the sun to come out, I'd rather go explore a new area and see what else I can find today. So with that being said, I'm going to take this shot now. Again, ISO 100, f8, polarizer on, and I've actually stopped it down a third of a stop, just because the light from the even though it is cloudy, it's the highlights in the top of the photo are kind of bright. So I just darkened it down a third of a stop, and I'm just focusing on the tree, the closest tupelo tree in the shot to me, closest one to me. So I'm gonna get a 2-second timer set and take that picture now. Definitely would have been better with light, but hey, it is what it is. I'll go ahead and show you that photo now, and then we'll move on to the next location. So I've driven, since I last spoke with you, I've driven about 30 miles looking for anything I can photograph, looking for an area to pull over so I can do some walking and look for some subjects. You can see my car just behind me, I found what I think may be a cool composition, but getting there, getting to it is going to be the challenge, because I've got to walk through a bunch of high, tall grass and mud. I would be willing to bet I'm going to spook up a deer. It's a cutover was what it is. They've cut all the trees out of this area. But what I'm looking to photograph is there's a little small cluster of dead pine trees. And I know it sounds weird, but when the sun comes out and hits those trees, they almost look like a fiery orange color. And in these fields, you can see behind me, there are a bunch of yellow flowers. I'm not sure what kind of flowers they are. They're not sunflowers, but I don't know. What I'm hoping to do is get some of these flowers in the foreground of my shot and have the pine trees in the background lit up that bright orange color. And I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. But I've got to somehow find a way to get over there and set up a shot. So if I make it through all this mud and thick grass, I will bring you back later on when I get set up. So I hope y'all can see me okay. As you can see, all the debris from the Forestry Service cutting all these trees. It is almost impossible to get this little tripod that you are sitting on balanced and actually level. So my plan to get the yellow flowers in the foreground, these pine trees in the background, failed miserably. So all the yellow flowers are close to the road. Once you get more into the cutover this way, they're all dead for whatever reason. So I couldn't find them any to make a good foreground for this subject, this composition. So what I'm doing is something I don't typically do. And as always, I will turn you around and let you see what I'm looking at. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 dead pine trees. And as I said earlier, the light's hitting them just right, and it's kind of making the sections of the tree that doesn't have any bark on them, it's kind of making them this nice orange color, kind of contrasty. And instead of getting way back and zooming in on the trees, that would be kind of boring. So I got pretty close. This is a 24 to 105 lens. And I've gotten pretty close to them. And I'm aiming my camera, as you can see, up. And what I'm going for is just a simple, kind of like an abstract shot. I want to get about half of the trees, about halfway up. Starting there, and I'm looking basically straight up. And I'm getting half the trees in the frame. And then you have the clouds behind it. So I'm thinking it'll look good. My plan is to turn it to a black and white. And I'm thinking with all the dark and light clouds in the background, it'll make a good contrasty abstract type photo. May not be for everybody, but I've spent 30 minutes getting over here to this spot and looking around, so I wasn't going to leave without shooting something. So I've taken a few, but now that the light's coming out a little bit stronger now, I'm going to take another shot. And my camera battery's almost dead. So it may or may not turn out, but regardless, I'm going to put it on the screen and show you what I've got. And since it's more of an abstract shot that I'm going for, I'm not really settings. I just got it on ISO 100 and I'm shooting it at f11 because all these trees, they're staggered, they're different places, they're not in a straight line. So I'm trying to get all the trees in focus. I'm shooting at f11 and that's giving me 1/250th of a second. So, and there's basically no wind, so it doesn't really matter. It all should be nice and sharp. Again, more of an abstract shot, but I wasn't leaving here without something because I am soaked in sweat and mosquito repellent trying to get out here and get this shot. So hopefully y'all like it. So now, the last shot I took was just over there, over there. Now we are going into what looks like a bunch of mixed hardwoods and pines. And I'm hoping, as I can see from the road, I'm hoping there is some big oak trees and white oaks maybe to photograph. I can see, you see that? Huge white oak, and there's several more in front of me. So if I can get some of those, if and only if the sun decides to show its face again, because it pops out every now and again, but it doesn't stay out long. All these clouds in the sky. They're definitely not helping my light situation. Y'all know what kind of crap this is? Let me show you. Let me turn the screen. There we go. What kind of poop is that? It almost looks like berries, but it looks like poop at the same time. So, I don't know. As you can see, I'm using my tripod to deter snakes, in case there are any. Because this undergrowth is so thick, I can't. A snake could be up underneath it and I'd never know it. I feel like I'm one of the only photographers that talks about snakes and bugs and spiders and things like that. Because I know there are some photographers in the US that have YouTube channels. But I feel like there are way more photographers in the UK over there in that area. That have YouTube channels. And you never hear them talking about predators, snakes, anything. They just go out, beautiful country, explore, and and come away with amazing photographs. Oh, how I envy them. I almost wish, no, I don't almost, I would love to see Thomas Heaton or any of the photographers over there come over here and deal with the crap that I've got to deal with to get a photo. And I'd love to see if they could what they would actually come away with. I'm telling you, it's a whole different world over here. The struggle is real. I'm seeing a lot of deer activity. Prints, footprints, or deer tracks. See an old deer scrape where they scraped the ground last year, I guess. This is a beautiful woodland. Very beautiful. But as you can see, it's just dark. You can see behind me. It's beautiful out here. Just wait on the sun to come up, or to come out. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling for now. See if I can find something. I'll bring y'all back when I do, if I do. Boy, did I get lucky. I guess a little bit of patience paid off. Just when I thought my luck had run out, I was getting ready to walk back to the car and head home. And the sun showed up, and I found this, in my opinion, this beautiful little cluster of trees, and they kind of stagger at a diagonal. There's two together, a pine tree, a white oak, and maybe a red oak back there. I can't tell what that one is, but just a beautiful little cluster of trees. And there's some overhanging limbs that I've tried to include in the top portion of the frame. And so I had to get it really high, so I had to come all the way back up to this pine tree here, kind of scooch up next to it and put my tripod like it is now to get it. But I think it's going to be a beautiful shot. The sun, like I said, the sun is just so thankful that it finally came out. So what I'm shooting this, I've got two subjects. I got this one, and then there's a scene just to my right that I'm thinking about shooting, not really sure. And I can see on the camera, I don't know how good the dynamic range is on this little DJI Action 3, but I am in shadow, so I'm hoping y'all can see me okay. But anyway, so I've got this set at 5.6. I'm focusing on the tree closest to me, and that will allow that tree to be in focus and the other ones to kind of slowly fade into the distance and fade out of focus, which is exactly what I want. It kind of gives it that little ethereal woodland look to it. But I'm shooting, since I'm on a tripod, I'm shooting at ISO 100, f5.6, and that's giving me 1/6 of a second with a polarizer engaged. Because as I said earlier, the polarizer just makes all the greens really pop in the woods. So I've already taken it. I'm just kind of taking different shots. Some underexposed, some overexposed, to just kind of see what the best look would be. Because this sun is literally coming in and out, in and out, in and out of the clouds. So it's constantly changing my exposure. Just kind of do a little bracket set there, just in case. Yeah, I'm gonna get the camera and show y'all what I'm looking at, and I'm gonna wait till the sun comes out a little bit better to show you. That way you can hopefully see it the way I see it. But it's been a beautiful morning. I hear thunder in the distance, and I see some dark clouds on the backside of that cutover I just came from. So I know there's rain on the way. I'm just hoping it'll hold off long enough so I can get this shot and possibly this one over here to my right, and then get out of here for the day. But it's been a beautiful morning. A little slow start. Like I said, when I was back at the little pond area with the tupelo trees this morning, it was so dark. I came close to just going home because I was there over an hour and a half, and there was no sun, and on all the apps that I checked, it was just cloud coverage for most of the morning. So I'm glad I stayed. But with that being said, I'll turn you around real quick and let you all kind of see what I'm seeing. And of course, when I show y'all, the sun is gone. But you can see the little cluster of trees just here, and the one a little bit further back, and then the white oak in the distance, and there's another tree even further in the distance. And all these overhanging limbs, I've kind of framed it about like this. And I'm either going to leave it a 4x3 or a 3x2. I may change it to a 16x9 in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but 16:9 aspect ratio in Woodland is beautiful. I love it. So there's the sun. All right, it's coming back out now. Give you a little bit better look of what it looks like, or idea of what it looks like anyway. So I've already taken the shot. I'm going to put that on the screen for you now. And if this little area over here winds up being something I can shoot, I'll bring y'all back in just a minute for that. But if not, we'll head back to the car and get out of here. Earlier, I have tried to video record on my R5. Well, because of the settings I had it set to, it would not record in those settings with the SD card installed. It had to be removed, and it would only record and download to my CF Express card. So what did I do? I stuck my SD card in my left pocket where my phone was. Didn't think nothing about it. That was this morning. Went to go pull it out of my pocket just a while ago to put it back in my camera because I was done for the day. No SD card. So at some point throughout the day, I pulled my phone out of my pocket and the SD card fell out with it. And I don't know where it is. The only place that I could possibly think that it may be is where I shot those pine trees a couple hours ago. So I'm headed back there now to check, and if it's not there, well, that's about $60 I think gone that I've got to spend now to replace it. Ooh, this wind. So anyway, I'm going to look for my SD card. Hopefully I can find it. If not, I'll be going shopping and get me another one. So guys, I hope y'all like this video today. Sorry for the wind noise. This was a last minute trip. I didn't really plan it. I just wanted to go explore this national forest area because I've never been here. Got some halfway decent shots, some abstract shots, and I think the last one of the woodland that I just showed you, I think that was the best of the day, in my opinion. You know, you gotta work what you can, you gotta take what you're given and work with it, you know, so that's what I did. So again, I'm gonna keep looking for this SD card, and that's it for this video. And I am going out in 2 days to make another video. So there will be another one coming up soon after this one. But again, hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like it, subscribe if you haven't already, comment if you got any questions, and I promise I'll get back to you and answer you. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all take care. God, what did I do with this card?